our office.
Yeah. Oh, got it.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I'm ready to get out of here.
How are you doing?
Keep responding on great to see what's
Hope so. Yeah, everything. Get in there.
All right, everyone, it is 11 o'clock, so let's get started. Thank you all for being here today. A lot more people here today than at South River office, so it's a little more fun when you get to engage with more people and get some more ideas flowing. But for those of you who don't know me, I'm Allison, and as of October, I did step into the new role of Director of Marketing and AI, and I'm sure you've heard all about the marketing side of that by now. So I'm very excited to dive into the first part of AI and to start teaching these monthly AI classes. And one thing I just want to focus on like right away is I'm not here just to show you a bunch of random tricks that AI can do and like some cool things. Like there will be some of that, but I really wanted to be intentional with this is something that you can take away and apply to your business right away, right? We're looking to leave here and immediately be able to level up, make things more efficient. And so that is really my goal, is for you to walk away here with stuff that you can immediately implement. So before we dive into that, who here just currently uses AI either weekly, daily, in some capacity, either in your personal life, professional, business, stuff like that? Okay, who wants to share how they do that right now? Let's get a few examples.
I will.
Hershey.
Literally in every way.
Yeah.
Like, I did it. I do. I used it to try and help me find new health insurance at the end of the year when I was trying to find health insurance.
Yeah.
So I prompted it by saying, you are the top insurance broker in Minnesota. I am a 61-year-old woman, self-employed, and it gave me great advice. I'm also shopping for a new car, and I put in, what I'm looking for, and like it gave me the top 5 in the search criteria that I have, and gave me prices and options for lease and like everything.
Love it.
And then of course we use it in our business every day.
Yeah. What ways are you using it in your business?
Writing descriptions, obviously.
Yep. That's the go-to.
That's the go-to. Yeah, how else do we use it? I don't even know.
In correspondence, in emails.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
I'll write it and then I'll stick it in there. I'm like, can you write it better?
Yeah. Read it,
like
it
a
up a bit.
difficult situation.
Especially.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like if we have a difficult situation with a client or on the other side of a transaction and it's a tough conversation, we'll put in, write this professionally, make it soft, make it, harder, whatever.
For sure.
Yeah. It's all about the prompts, right?
It is. And that's exactly what we're covering today.
Yeah.
So I love that. Who else uses it? Nick?
I've used it for like updating a brochure. So like, let's say I have a brochure of a neighborhood, with 2 homes for sale, and let's say I didn't have time to edit it on Canva. I took that PDF, uploaded it into the brochure, things add like a pending or whatever I wanted to change to it, and then it spit it back out, and I at least had a brochure for that day, and I wasn't stuck.
Love it. Good. So some design features too. Great. Anybody else? Nico?
I use it for Bible study.
Okay.
So I'll put in there what we're studying, and then I'll ask it to summarize so that. You kind of go back to the study with an opening. That's been extremely helpful.
Love it. Good. Got it. Well, Craig, yeah.
I basically use it like Google, which is why I'm here, because I really use it.
Yes, and you are not the only one. If you are treating it like a Google search engine, that's fine. It works. It gives good results. However, yes, like you said, the point of these classes is to go beyond that. So how can you really leverage it in your business? How you can go beyond just Google search, essentially.
I was going to say, for them using it for writing descriptions, are you going to go into like, 'cause I love it for writing descriptions, but at the same time, my problem is I don't like writing descriptions. And
Yep.
so if I can give it pictures or something else, I think write description rather than.
Exactly. Yeah. No, we are going to talk a little bit about that. So thank you for
Thank you.
giving a little preview of it. But yes, so kind of Hershey even said it. It's all about what the prompt is. And you've all have been using AI, at least in different levels in your business. And that's because it really isn't anything new at this point. New in the terms of, yes, in the last 5 years, it's come out and really grown. But in the terms of tech world, like it's been around for a good amount of time. Businesses are incorporating it, whether it's chatbots or virtual staging, stuff like that. You've all encountered it in some degree. So if you are with a client and you say, oh yeah, I use AI to like assist with my listings and everything, that's not really an advantage anymore. It sounds great, but that doesn't distinguish you from other agents because pretty much everyone is using it at in some degree. So what really is going to be a distinguisher and kind of put you, like differentiate you from other agents is the how you're using it. So this is going to be going beyond just using it as a Google search bar. And that really comes from how you prompt it. So just kind of to start off, we're going to go over the basics of prompting and the key things that you want to make sure you're including in every single prompt in order to get the best AI result. I'm sure you guys have experienced it because I definitely have, but you're sitting there and trying to do something and you think, oh, I'm just going to quickly turn this over to AI. It's going to do it fast for me and I'm going to save so much time. So you go in, you say, write this for me or draft this email response. And you say, okay, we're going to tweak it now a little bit. And then all of a sudden, 15 minutes later, you're still working with AI trying to tweak what the result is. And that's not really utilizing AI to the best of its ability because if you're spending that much time just trying to get the result you want, we need to revisit what are you actually prompting it to do in the first place. So the goal with this framework that I'm about to show you is where you're putting in one prompt that is well crafted and well developed for AI, so you're getting the best result the first try. Obviously, you can tweak stuff as you go, but this is really going to give you a top tier result that first try. Trisha.
Well, I clearly don't use AI much, so this might sound dumb, but this is more than just ChatGPT we're talking about, like.
So I'm going to be using ChatGPT as an example and like kind of showing you things to walk through. That being said, this is applicable for all AI, whether you're using large language models like Gemini, Claude, ChatGPT, or if you're using other things to like create more visual stuff, like Gamma is a PowerPoint generator. Anytime that you're prompting AI, you're going to want to use this type of framework because they all work the same way when it comes to reading your prompt. Does that make sense? Yeah, perfect.
Can you share that screen? Because it's not showing up the Zoom.
I cannot share it on Zoom because I am just wired to the computer or the TV. But yes, I can send out the slide deck if you like it as well. But yes, so when we're looking at prompting, there are really 5 key things that you want to include each time you prompt. And it's a fun little acronym because we are KW and we love acronyms. So this is called the CRAFT framework. And I know when you're looking at it, you're kind of thinking, oh, it's going to take me a long time to write this prompt. That's not really saving time if I have to go through and include all this information. The reality is, just like anything, the more you do it, the better and faster you are going to become at it. So when you're writing your first prompts a few times, you may already include some of these. So that's great. My goal is to make sure you're including all 5 of these every time. And the more you do it, the faster you're going to get at it. One thing to note, you don't need to be writing sentences and like full paragraphs for each of these letters. Some of them can be as simple as just a 5-word inclusion into your prompt. Does that make sense? Perfect. So let's just go through and take a look at what these are. So like I said, this is the CRAFT framework, and the C is going to stand for context. This is where you're going to spend the most time for your AI prompt because AI essentially doesn't know what situation you're in. You're going to be explaining it. So what's the situation? Are you writing a listing description for a 3-bed, 2-bath house that's 1,200 square feet in Maple Grove? Are you trying to write an email, like Jeannie said, where you're working with an agent and something difficult comes up and you need help wording stuff? This is where you're going to want to put a lot of focus because the more you give it in this section, the better your results are going to be. So if you want to include listing details, if that's relevant, information about your clients, what are you trying to accomplish with them. And then just if you have timelines, that's one that I like to include because it gets the details just even more locked in. So the bulk of what you're going to be writing is for context. But then you're going to move on to role. And Hershey kind of touched on this when she was talking about her insurance example. It's you are a experienced insurance broker. You're telling AI what you want it to post as because that's going to impact the type of result that it gives you and what knowledge it draws upon. So a good one for just agents is you are an experienced real estate agent. That's going to get you pretty far with a lot of your stuff because that's who you guys are and that's what you want to come from the perspective of. However, you're not limited to that. So if you're dealing with a bunch of numbers or more financial side of things, you can say you are a financial planner or an expert in accounting, stuff like that. And that's going to change the response it gives you. For example, if you say you're a financial planner, it's going to be more direct to the point, focus on the data. However, if you say you're a marketing specialist, it's going to give you more of a response that appeals to people's emotions because you're trying to promote something and like advertise something. So the role is really important because it's going to guide AI on what it emphasizes in the response that it gives you. And like I said, this one does not have to be super long. You're just going to say a quick, you are what? What role do you want it to play? Next, you're going to move into the ask. This one you guys should have down because even if you don't do anything else, at a baseline, you do have to tell it what you want it to do. So write me an email, write a listing description, come up with social media content ideas. This one is just you're telling AI what you want it to do. What's the purpose of this? Are you wanting it to summarize like a 20-slide PowerPoint in bullets for you? This is your ask. And I emphasize the word clearly state because you want to be explicit with what you're telling it to do so it doesn't try to take liberties of moving into somewhere else or it doesn't miss anything. Then format and tone kind of go hand in hand, but this is just kind of guiding the structure and kind of the language that is used in the prompt. So format, are you working with a word count? Obviously for listing, bless you. For listing descriptions, you want to meet a certain word count or not go above something, so you can give it a range. If you're writing an email and you want it to just be like short and snappy, you can say bullet points or brief paragraphs, stuff like that. But you're just going to tell it how you want the response to be structured. And then for tone, this is going to be how you want it to sound. Like, what do you want to sound like? Do you want it to be professional because you're working with a luxury client, or do you want it to sound reassuring and confident if you're working with some nervous first-time home buyers? Just things like that. You want to say how you want it to sound. And it does make a difference if you kind of compare prompts where you specify different tones. You can tell that does make a difference. So definitely include that in there. And one thing, if you do just either 2 or 3 of these letters for the prompts, you're still going to get a good response. However, you're also going to find yourself going back and adding things and trying to tweak it. The goal is you want to hit all 5 of these things because that's just a well-rounded AI, well-rounded prompt that AI has everything it needs in order to give you the best results. So, any questions on that before we move on? Would you guys say how many of these letters were you guys naturally incorporating into your prompts? Were you hitting one regularly and missing a few, or what were you kind of already doing?
To know my tone.
Yeah.
So that I don't have to prompt it, just sending it to Bill and certain phrases I like to use.
Yep.
Or like, just you could literally ask AI to come up with a list of prompts that would help you literally craft your AI to feed you emails that would sound more like you. Mm-hmm. Phrases, words you like to use and things like that. So then it can almost take some of this away.
Yeah, and that's the beauty of it is it's generative AI. It learns as you go. So the more you use it, the more it's going to pick up on what you like, your sentence structure, what you like to include. And so just that's why really spend time using it because it's just going to make your responses all the better. And to Christine's point, it's going to pick up on what your natural tone is. This is still good to include if you need to do something specific. So if you're naturally talking this way, but you're now all of a sudden having to find yourself being very serious for a conversation or having hard discussions, just change up that tone, and for that response, it'll change it and be what you'd like. Yeah, everyone did that.
So would it assume that, I mean, it seems to assume that the tone and the role is going to be pretty consistent because you're the only person using that instance, right? Or should we still prompt role and tone every single time if we're not deviating from who we are?
Yeah. So not to get too technical right now because it's easier to show, but if you're working in a single chat, like this is for ChatGPT and Gemini, if you're working in a single channel, it's going to save that and it's going to know. But if you switch channels, it's going to be good to include those just at the beginning so it can pick up on what you want to, how you want the tone and format to be. But yeah, just want to emphasize, these aren't things that you need to come up with full sentences for. It can be just like a 3-word inclusion at the end of your prompt. But I do still encourage you to have it there just because you're going to get better results. Yeah. Any other questions, Rishi?
Maybe this is getting too deep in the weeds, but also if you pay for a pro version,
Yep.
you can actually create your own. You can create your own like bot or whatever and tell it exactly who you are. And it'll ask you all kinds of questions to create your own person so it knows who you are.
Yep.
But maybe that's too much for right now.
Who here uses a pro version of AI? Amazing. It should be everyone because as a KW agent, what do we have for free?
Gemini.
Love it. Who here has not accessed Gemini Pro yet using their KW? All right. Well, if you want to learn, definitely stop by. I can show you how to get it set up. It's super easy. It's using your KW email. But to Hershey's point, you can do with Pro, you can create your own persona and get those details solidified. So if you're not already using it as a KW agent, you have it for free. So I highly encourage you to start picking that up just because you can work more with files. You can do a bunch of other things. There's no limitations. So yes, stop by if you need help setting that up. I'd love to help you. Okay, so now we're just going to take a look at a quick example just to see what this looks like kind of in real estate. So this is a basic prompt that I created, and I have a listing, and I'm just sending my seller an update on the activity for the week. So this says, write a listing update email to send to my seller that tells them we had 7 showings, 1 second showing, and 1 potential offer this week. So based on that, what parts of craft, which you can see at the top there, did I include?
Context.
Okay. Yep. Perfect. Yeah. So this isn't a bad prompt. If you put this into any type of AI, it's going to give you a response and it's not going to be terrible. However, it is incomplete. And if you really want to send a good polished email to your client, you're going to want to include a few more things. So if this was your prompt and you're editing it, what are some things that you want to add to it to make it even stronger?
Who you are.
Yeah, who you are.
Yeah. Okay. So like I am an experienced real estate agent. Yeah. Anything else?
Maybe more about the seller, like how, I don't know, maybe more information about like, is this the first week on the market? Is it, how long has it been on? Yeah.
Yep. Perfect.
Tone.
Yep. Build out that context more and definitely tone. Anything else? Love it. So you guys kind of hit the nail on the head there. So this is kind of a decent one, but we can make it stronger. And so I just worked a little bit to make it stronger. So I gave it more details about the listing, 4-bedroom, 3-bath, 2,500 square feet in Maple Grove. And then I just built out the context of it more. So I said buyer feedback mentioned price sensitivity and interest in the updated kitchen. And then I moved more into the tone. So I'm telling them keep it confident, proactive, and help the seller feel informed and taken care of. And then some other things that I put in there too was mention the continued efforts of hosting open houses, calling up other agents and clients, and advertising on social media. So I'm just giving it more detail about what I'm doing to help it versus just the basic prompt. So the responses that I'm going to get from these two are going to be incredibly different. And if I'm just typing this, it seems like a big paragraph, but this took me less than 2 minutes to type. And when you guys are doing stuff like this, you know your listings, you know your clients. So it's not going to take you long to type at all. But if you do spend an extra minute or two typing your prompt, the results are going to be dramatically different and you're going to be able to get all that more efficient with it. Evan?
I've heard of people using AI to help them write the prompts themselves. What do you think of that?
I actually wrote this with AI, so that's perfect. I said, I'm an agent. What type of prompt would you like? What would I include in my prompts if I'm trying to show this example or get this done? So definitely I do that a lot. Yeah. But does that make sense how we took it from kind of the basic level to expanding on it a bit more? Got it. So that's just kind of the basics of prompt. That's nothing that's groundbreaking or anything like that, but I did want to cover it because if you are writing your prompts and it's not complete, you're not going to be getting the results that you want. But where the value kind of comes in is how you can turn this into a repetitive system. So for those of you who use AI, do you have systems in place right now that you just kind of go to and use repetitively? So Nick, when you were talking about making your flyers, do you do that consistent enough where you have a system with AI that you use?
I have short answer, yes. So like
Yeah.
I use the same chat in
Yep.
Claude for the same text. Like depending on, excuse me, if I'm editing a brochure in A development or B development, I'm doing it in that same chat because it knows what I'm asking. Is that what
Perfect.
you're asking?
Yep. Yeah.
Yes.
Awesome. So yeah, you'll find yourself throughout the week doing things that are repetitive. And the point of AI is to help you make those more efficient because we waste a lot of time typing out emails, especially if it's the same email several times. Like you're sending a lot of things, different people, but same concept. And so what I encourage you to do is take a look at the actions you're doing weekly or daily and figure out where you can leverage AI to make these more efficient. And one thing that I looked at is something, before I get too ahead of myself, I changed this. So one thing that I looked at when I was detailing this is creating a prompt library because we do so many things several times throughout the week. And if you already have kind of a draft of a prompt that you can just copy and paste into AI and change the details, that's going to make everything a whole lot quicker, right?
Share your
I will.
thing.
Yes, I will send that out afterwards. But so I took a look at 10 activities that agents are going to find themselves doing several times, whether with each transaction, each client, or just multiple times throughout the week. And so it's things like writing up a net sheet explanation, asking your sellers for a referral, right? We love getting Google reviews. We love following up. And so you're going to be doing that with each client. Other things include open house follow-ups, price reduction recommendations, listing descriptions like we touched on, and then post-buyer consult recaps. So these are just activities that you're going to find yourself doing several times. And so how can we kind of make it more of a system that you can use? So what I did was I went ahead and created a prompt library, and there we go. So I went ahead and created a prompt library. So if you scan that QR code, it's going to take you to a Google Doc where you can make your own copy and just so you can fill it in and customize it to whatever you want. But you will see here that me and AI work together to create prompts that you can just fill in your details and copy and paste. Julie, I knew you were coming and I said, try it again and let me know. But yeah, so essentially make your own copy of this and you can scroll through and see that there are different prompts created here that you can paste into AI. One thing about it, and I will, has everyone had a chance to scan it before I leave the page? Wait, no.
Is there a reason you're using ChatGPT when it's Gemini Pro that we're using as an office?
So I use ChatGPT because we have the Pro version. It's just where everything is for me right now. We've had it before the Gemini Pro came out, so that's just the systems. That being said, it looks the exact same thing for Gemini, where you have your different chats, you have your projects, and you're using the same type of prompts. It's all those large language models operate very similarly. But yes, everyone.
I was thinking it was because we couldn't spell it.
Morning.
That one is easier to spell. You get it, Craig? Perfect. Okay, so if we just take a look at what this is, you can obviously pull it up on yours. But this is essentially a document that, like I said, I went through and created different prompts that you can be using on a regular basis. The beauty of this is you're going to make your own copy and it can be a living document. So as you're going through your week or just your real estate transactions and you say, man, I find myself doing this over and over again, create a prompt for it and put it in this library so you can just circle back to it, and whenever you need it, copy and paste it into AI. But you'll look at it, just some instructions at the top there. One thing, anything that is highlighted in brackets, those are going to be details that you are putting in. So make sure to fill that in and remove them before you submit it to Gemini or ChatGPT or whatever you're using. But then you can see these are just different prompts that I have created. We have a CMA summary email here. And one thing to note is on some of these, I've included stuff like ask me the following before drafting. Because obviously if you're writing a CMA, there are certain details that you need that chat just doesn't know. Like how would it know? So I've prompted it to essentially ask you the questions and all the information that you would need. And then once you answer those, then it's going to go and draft whatever you would like on that. So you can take a look at it. It does the same thing with the net sheet. So here are some highlighted ones. You can just copy it and then remove the price, put in your actual price, stuff like that. But yes, any questions on that? Everyone was able to access it. Julie, are you good?
Nico sent it to me.
Perfect. I can work with you
I
after
tried it
too.
3 times. I'm like.
I am so sorry. But yes, any questions on that at all? But if you, it can either be this one or you can build your own, but I definitely encourage you to create kind of just a prompt library essentially where you can leverage the efficiency. If you're doing something repetitive, try to limit that by having a prompt that you can just copy and paste and have ready to go. So I have had 10 here already. My goal is to build it out even more as time goes on, but this is just a good starting block for things that you find yourself doing a lot. Perfect.
So you have this in a Word document?
This is in a Google Doc.
Oh, this is DocX. Like you could even use something like Evernote or Notion to store it, right? So you can like say like, here's a folder for this stuff, and you have clips. Okay, so it doesn't have to be like one long document.
You can know, for the sake of me having to share it with several people in different market centers, it is going to be living here for me because that's just the easiest to get it to you guys. But take it and organize it however you want, whatever works with your systems. Don't recreate the wheel, but yeah. Okay, so all right, so like I said at the beginning, my goal is for you to walk out of here with different tangible resources that you can use and implement right away. So this is one of them that I wanted to highlight. Okay, so that kind of wraps up the basics of prompting that I wanted to cover, just to make sure we had that foundation and we were on the same page moving forward. Before we move on to the next part of it, does anyone have any questions or final thoughts about that? Amazing. So the next thing that I wanted to cover is how we're going to turn prompts into transaction workflows, right? If we just are getting good at prompting, that's great, but we can level it up even more and really impact how we run our business through there. So one thing that I wanted to show you and that I created was how you can essentially turn AI into your own little like mini listing assistant, or if you're working with buyers, a good place for you to work with all your buyer stuff and have it in one place. So I wanted to show you how to create what I'm calling the transaction hubs. So this is, you can work with either ChatGPT, Gemini, Claude, whatever your preferred AI model is. But I created essentially 4 steps of where you can essentially set up this transaction hub. So step 1 is going to be fill out the AI context sheet. What I did was, and I will get all this to you in just a second, but what I did was create this that you guys can fill out either if you're working with a seller or a buyer, and it's essentially something that you can just copy and paste or upload into AI, and it sets the memory for you, right? We talk about how AI has a memory, that's the beauty of it. And so this is essentially a one-step thing where you can just fill it out, upload it, and it locks in all your memory. So let's say I have a listing, I'm working with sellers. I'm going to fill out the sheet. I did it. It took me less than 10 minutes to do it. And I'm actually fun. But I'm going to fill this out. And just like the prompt bank or prompt library, everything that is highlighted is stuff that you're going to fill out. And we're just really building up AI's memory. So you guys can do this, and AI, just naturally having conversations with AI, this is supposed to be a one-step thing that you can just fill out, upload, the memory set. Does that make sense? Perfect. So the first step here is this is just telling AI we're going through the craft method essentially. We're saying you are my AI assistant for this specific real estate transaction. I'm setting up this conversation as a single place to run all the communication through. So it knows that when you're talking in this chat, you're going to be specifically talking about this transaction. So it knows that everything is going to be applied to that. And then what you're going to do is just fill out this information. Like I said, this isn't supposed to be an MLS input form. Like it's not trying to add more work to you guys. You can add as much or as little detail as you want. These are just the things that chat told me it needs to know in order to kind of build out that successful memory. So you're just going to fill out stuff, obviously the property highlights and the information, just the basics, but then you're going to go into kind of more detail. So for this listing, who are your target buyers going to be? Who are the type of people that we're looking to attract? Because that's going to determine the type of responses that you're going to get from ChatGPT or Gemini, whatever. But we're just going to go through different segments that we're helping build out the memory. And we're going to hit stuff like the agent brand voice. What do you want this to be? Like I said, if you're already working with chat a lot, it knows your tone. You can skip this, like literally just delete it off the document. You don't need to use it. But then here, this is what you can use AI for. This is stuff that it can help you with. If there's anything you don't want it to touch on, put it here. Like if you don't want it to go anywhere near like the mortgage side of things or stuff like that, you can put it there because then it knows not to stray. It'll sometimes want to take liberties to help you and like say, oh yeah, we're going to include all these things. If you want to avoid that, just say it because then it knows not to even go near that stuff. But like I said, this took me less than 10 minutes to fill out when I was doing a sample one. And so you can make it what you want. I don't want to add another form for you guys to do because that's not the efficiency side of it. But the whole point of this then is to upload it into chat. So I just want to walk through a demonstration and it can be done on any AI that you want to do. But for example, here I filled out one. So I made up a listing. Here are some details about it, went through and just filled out some of these things. You'll notice I'm not using complete sentences. I'm just using different adjectives or words. For some things, I just put TBD because I may not know my sellers that well at that point yet. So if you just put TBD or NA, that's totally fine too. You can also just delete it. Like that doesn't impact it. But I have this filled out now. So what I'm going to do is just upload it to my phone. Download it. And here, I'm just going to start a new chat. So what you can do, you guys can do this with any Pro version you have. So if you have Gemini Pro, use that. If you have ChatGPT Pro, use that. You can also do it for free. So I'm just going to show you the Pro version real quick because it's super easy. But all you can do is take that file we just downloaded and upload it. And when you do that, chat's going to read whatever file you just sent in. So for me, it knows all of the property information now. And it's going to say, perfect, now I know that this is going to be the hub for when you're working with this transaction. And we can do, I know all of the context and I know the tone, all the details that you provide. So it's even saying things that we can, it can help us with now. So if you want it to do a listing description, update, marketing angle, stuff like that, it knows that this is now the hub. I'm just going to show you guys how to do it if you're working with a free version, just because it's a little different, but not hard at all.
Allyson, can I ask you a question on? So AI automatically names it, but should you just like go, can you go back and change the name and like name it the address or something?
Yep. So when we were looking at our different steps here, that is actually step 4 is to name it and organize it to be whatever you want.
Okay.
But yes. So when you're looking at it, if you're working with a free version, you can't upload documents because then you have just limited responses. I'm sure most of you know that. So you can just copy and paste this whole thing and paste it into the chat. That's kind of the workaround. If you're using a free version, you're not limiting yourself to the number of responses you can have left. Yeah, Perry.
This might be a different class, but would you consider uploading just the form in the blank form in a GPT you create as a listing assistant
in the knowledge section. So
Say it
that it's
again?
always there. So you put it in the chat generally.
Yep.
Have you, and I'm asking because I'm in the middle of this,
Mhm.
have you created any GPTs, like listing assistants, and then you just upload it to the knowledge base there?
Mhm.
And that makes it easier for future conversations?
Yes, I have. That's not what we're getting into today because I didn't want to go too deep down that rabbit hole. That is going to be a future class, creating specific GBTs and stuff. But yes, that it works in a similar way. This is more of just a more segmented version of that. So we're organizing it by chats instead of GBTs.
Thank you.
Yeah. Simon, you are going to have access to it.
I want it.
Yes. But so when we're looking at this now, you can see it knows everything that we want. Another thing that I would recommend, and this varies per listing that you use, but you can also upload just the previous MLS form. Obviously, if this is a property that hasn't been on the market in 20 years and there's been a lot of changes, you're not going to want to upload a previous MLS form that has a lot of things different about it now than what the house is. But if you pull up the listing, the previous MLS and just download that, upload it to chat just to further solidify any context. So as long as you see that this is pretty accurate, there haven't been any major changes, it's still going to be a great source to even further build out your AI memory. So I'm just going to say, here's perfect. And it just, like I said, it further builds out the memory. So you're creating an even better picture for chat to be working with as you go through this transaction. So does that make sense how we did everything there? Any questions on that or want me to repeat anything? Nick?
Sorry, small question.
Yeah.
So you mentioned creating a chat for the form that you created,
Mm-hmm.
and then you said create a new chat to upload the filled out form.
So that was just answering Perry's question. You can create different GPTs, which is essentially just different brains with the AI.
Yep.
And so you can have your own like listing one, your own buyers. I'm showing you how to do that at a more basic level right now. And then down the road, we can build
That's
on
fine.
that.
I just want to make sure I understood the
Mhm.
basic level
Yeah.
at that point.
Yeah.
So sorry.
No, you're good.
Secondary question. Let's say I had another listing down the road. Would I use the same chat for, how do I word this?
Mhm.
Do I use the same chat to fill out that form every time?
So that's
Be
a
the
good
best,
question.
or-
What I would recommend
Yeah.
is dividing your transactions into different chats. So like Kim had said, obviously it creates this own name here. You can rename it. So I'm just going to name it sellers, Rick and Christine, and then I listed their address as well. That way, when I come to my chat, I know that this is representing my sellers. And anything I do in this relates to that transaction only. If I have another listing, you can fill out that context form or upload the previous MLS in a different chat and create a whole nother section for it. You're essentially creating a different file for each transaction. Does that make sense? Perfect. So, we're just looking at our steps here. So these are the 4 steps to do it. It's very simple, but I just wanted to highlight that with you, is you're filling out the context sheet, uploading it to whatever AI you're using, and then renaming it, organizing it however you see fit. So that was an example for the listing. I also have one created for buyers because obviously they are different. So it does the same thing where you're essentially giving the AI your initial prompt of saying, I'm creating this space to only represent this transaction, but we're going to be giving it different information. So now you're filling out stuff pertaining to your buyer. What are they looking for? What areas are they looking for? What's their budget? Nice to have. And then stuff like this is really what's going to drive how you want AI to communicate with your buyer. So if you know that, maybe they're first time home buyers, they're a little nervous, they don't have as much knowledge as someone who's been through the process before, you're going to put those details in here. So chat knows that that's the perspective that we're coming from and the people that we're writing to. So it's the same thing. You're just filling out this information. If it doesn't pertain to you or you don't want to use it, delete it, leave it blank. It doesn't impact how you do it. But it's the same thing where you're just downloading this and uploading it to a different chat in AI. And that's kind of how you can set up your organization side of things. One thing that I wanted to note was, so one thing, just I love organizing the files and everything, because if you just have a long list of chats, it's easy to get lost. And so one thing I wanted to show you guys was something called projects. So as you can see here, I have different projects like AI classes, stuff like that. What I would recommend is just creating your own project to further organize things. So you can put sellers 2026. And now this is a file where you can put all of your transactions for 2026 in. And we already have this created, so you can actually just move it to there. Now you're essentially going to be creating a list of all of your transactions that you're using AI for. Does that make sense? It's just, that's how my brain would like to look at it. Instead of having multiple chats, I can just go and open it in different files. And you can do the same thing for your buyers. Okay, so kind of one thing I want to show you before we wrap up is now that you have the context set, you can actually use this in tandem with your prompt library. So one thing I want to show you is, let's say we want to, so let's say your listing's been on the market for a while and it's time to recommend a price reduction. Let's see how we can make this super efficient using chat. You know, oh, my prompt library already has a price reduction email. So all you have to do is copy that, go to your chat where you have this transaction going, paste it, and we know that there's different information we have to replace. So I'm just going to replace this with that, and then the property address, which it should already know. So even if you don't put that, that's fine. Perfect. So we just combined now our prompt library with this transaction hub for AI. So it knows all this information, how I want it to communicate with my clients. So if I say write an email recommending a price reduction, it's going to create a way that it can do that. And the internet's a little slow, so it's taking a bit. But essentially, here's the thing. And one thing to note is when I filled this out, I said they are very detail oriented and want to be involved with a lot of things. So that is why you can see it's writing a lengthy email. You're not going to want to do that for a lot of buyers or sellers, whatever, if that's not your style. So when you're doing the context sheet, you can say bullet points, keep it short, stuff like that. I said they're detail oriented, so it's going to give them more details. But I can even just say, shorten it. And it's going to rewrite it. Just kind of the basics that I'm sure you guys already know. But I just wanted to show you how you can use the library in tandem with your transaction hubs. So you're really creating the system that you can repeatedly use for each transaction. And you're just creating this memory that you can effectively communicate your clients with. Does that make sense? Any questions or anything that people have? Okay, well, Edwin, this is for you finally. Here are the QR codes that you guys can go ahead if you want to use the buyer and seller context sheets. It's the same thing as the prompt library. Scan it, create your own copy. And same thing with the prompt library. If you want to change anything or you do something extra or you don't include anything, tailor this to fit your business, because that is the goal. Like, we're trying to custom create things to help leverage your business and really make it as efficient and manageable as possible. So make any changes you want, add anything, delete anything. But that is those. Okay. And actually, here's that slide if you need the prompt library as well. Does that work for you, Julie?
No. No? No, I shut everything off on AI.
It shouldn't. It's just a QR code to a Google Doc, but I can help you take a look at it later. I bet it's an account setting.
Never had a problem. Every time.
Yeah, I'll take a look at it. Got it. Was everyone able to get those? Craig, do you want me to grab your phone and do it since you're far away? Yeah. Oh, perfect. Okay. Well, that is all that I have for you guys today. Like I said, I wanted to start with the basics of just building out good prompts and make that kind of your natural instinct whenever you do approach AI. You know how to give it the information it needs to better serve you. And then I wanted to show you how you can incorporate this into your own business and create kind of those workflows that make it easy to have organized, but also provide it the information to really create a strong memory with your AI. Any questions about the class at all, or do you want me to go back to anything, redo anything?
Great class. I just got one comment that I had a chat I was working on regarding like planning and that type of thing, and it got really long, like long time, and it's really long, and it started to slow down.
Oh,
so I asked it about it, and it's like we've just done so much work, and we had documents and all kinds of things. They're like, that's why it's slowing down. You should probably start a new chat. But so what it did is it wrote for me like a summary of everything that we had done and my tone and everything, and also a list of operational rules. That they would respond the way I wanted. So it was like, even though I started a new chat, it was like exactly one. So that's just a comment if that's helpful for anyone, because it was really, really good.
Yes, and I have done that as well, where like Lisa's point, you're trying to figure out what you even use this chat for. One, you can just ask it. Like I've said to my chat, was it this channel that I asked you this question in? And it would say yes or no, and then tell me where to go if I was in the wrong place, just so I can have that memory. But yes, to Lisa's point, if you say, write me a document that I can upload in a different channel or even different AI service that has a complete kind of memory bank. So when you upload that or copy and paste it, you're kind of picking up where you left off. So it knows what you're covering. It knows what it can and can't do. Like you said, you have rules for it, but it's pretty cool what you can do. But I highly encourage you to just really focus on the memory of the AI, because that's where you're going to have the best results. Is it already knows you, it knows what you like, it knows what you want it to do and not want it to do. So that's a great point. Thank you.
And ask it, like, I didn't know. I was like, why are you slowing down? What's happening?
Oh, yeah.
So it told me this, like, this is why we've done so much work in here. And it's like, I can write you this and that. And I'm like, okay, perfect. So
yeah. Awesome. Well, before we wrap up, I just had a question for you guys. So my goal is to make these as valuable for you as possible. And like I said, I'm going to be doing AI classes every month. As we go through, I can bring my own ideas to the table, and I have topics that I want to touch on and cover, but the value also comes from what you guys want to hear. So just kind of as we're getting started, are there any areas of AI that you really want to lean into and focus on? Because I would love to take those and really develop classes that have a big impact on you guys and the stuff that you want to focus on. So just as before we leave, are there any areas of interest that you want to kind of focus on and build a class around?
No one actually has.
Yeah. When I did this at Elk River, one thing that they wanted to focus on was using AI for social media, whether it's writing captions, creating a schedule, building content ideas. So I am building kind of an AI and social media class. That's just kind of one example, but just really in your business, what are some different ways that you either want to leverage AI or just become more efficient in?
Yeah, I would like to Sherry, or to Perry's point, to have how to create your own GPT. I would love that.
Love it.
Gemini Pro, is that a class share?
What do you, a class for it? I can show you how to access it and go over everything. It's very similar to chat. So like I said, I just have that, so I was using it, but I can show you how to get your free Gemini Pro and just kind of give you the basics, but yeah.
Could we do a workshop where we're actually creating some of this stuff? So supposed to be putting it on my calendar to do at a later date. It'd be nice to have, like,
yeah, just kind of a spot where you can come in and
What do we got? Allison, future clients? What?
non-native.
I might want to try that one out.
What do you
Yeah.
got it. Any other topics that you guys are interested in?
What about like creating a CMA?
Creating
Like,
the CMA?
I was thinking we could all create a CMA together.
Yeah.
ChatGPT. That would be great. Cool idea.
Love it. Got it. Harry.
So I just hired an AI coach. And the reason we started working together was he created a class or something specifically and it was titled, supposed to be a good title of a class, how AI can help you save at least 5 hours a week in your business.
Yeah.
And create a class around just ways to save time.
Got it.
Even like, you guys with kids and families and whatnot, like creating healthy meal plans. Like, I mean, there's so much AI ability outside of real estate that
Sure.
a lot of us would love as well.
Yeah. Got it. Love it. All right. Well, I'm
This
a
is probably way down the line, but you might want to maybe talk about agents eventually, like AI agents to like automate tasks, strings like that.
Mhm.
But that's way down the line probably.
Got it. Yeah, and that can kind of fit with our GBTs as well.
I don't know
Once we
if
go into
Gemini is
that.
able to do agents though. See,
Well,
that
I
might-
have to figure that out. Yeah. Got it. Well, if you guys have any questions or need the resources again, email me, come stop by the office. I'm more than happy to help with anything. And then if you have any ideas or want to touch on stuff, just let me know because I want to make these as valuable for you as I can. So the more feedback I have from you guys, the better of a job I can do with that. But that is all I have for today. Thank you all for joining me. Okay.
Very nice.
So people elsewhere don't get to see you other than how you go there. Because you're here all the time.
I am in Elk River more so now, like I was saying yesterday.
You're always here when I come in, so to me, you're here 100% of the time.
Well, good. So it's just people
Like,
like-
that's not like she's all ours. They get to borrow her occasionally. They're on.
Yeah.
It's complicated because
Yeah.
So you
Work smarter, not.
I noticed that people don't do the share.
Don't know what.
They don't do the share. Most people do. I just, what's so crazy about the shared screen is that I still PC. That's what I was thinking. But you're gonna get the slide deck.
I know.
Everybody's like, oh, I think I kind of. So they.
Usually for like team meetings and stuff, like share the screen, it can only be done when you're back. Otherwise it gets locked down when you're playing, doing stuff like that. Because then I would have to be post and share it, and it just makes everything smaller on the screen. But
Yeah, we'll get slides from this because she wants like a full setup of everything. I'm like, yes, master, what does she say? She wants all notes and good stuff. It's interesting though. So your prompt library, you are on Google Doc, right? So you just have one prompt library, multiple prompt libraries.
Right now, it is that one because I'm making it as easy as possible. I'm sharing it with a lot of people.
What about for
And
you
it's
personally? Probably a multiple.
personally, I have everything separated in chat. So like if you look at my ChatGPT, I have one that's called Excel in it.
They're looking
That's where I go when I
And you can
need.
search for the chat in case it gets pushed.
Exactly.
In the chat like a month ago, you're like,
I do control F, or I do. Yeah.
you can even have just the document quick links to the chat. So you click, it just jumps into it. Bookmarks. And projects things Gemini doesn't have. So I was like, what's projects?
So it's essentially just another way to organize things. So you have
Sorry, I know
you have all of these chats below, and
Got it.
it's kind of like one-offs. If you're doing something that's really systematized and you know you're going back to again, for example, your sellers, you can create a project and it's essentially just another file. So if I had
Does it perform differently than the chat?
the organization function, it doesn't do anything different. All the memory is tied together.
Is the project a bookmark of chats or is it actually a folder?
The memory is together, but it's all separate.
Interesting. Okay, so it's multi-chat. Okay.
No, set the system is sellers of 2026.
Trying to get you, they're working on it for Gemini, but they haven't released it yet.
Yeah.
And I'm like, boo hiss, you really want to be that far behind OpenAI stuff? Well, we're not paying for it.
Yeah.
There's just an outro you can release it.
One of
Yeah. This is completely off topic, but like, people ask what's better, and I'm like, really on what you're doing.
Yeah, I agree.
But should be you're happy, you can fine no matter what.
Thank you later.
That was great. That was really good. I think that even those of us who are kind of tech savvy, this stuff still makes you drown a little bit.
Yeah. That's the thing. You get but you need to also take the time to right. Yes, know that Jack can do all the things, but if you have 80 things, you're probably gonna do that well.
You use Perplexity much?
I'm getting into it. I haven't had the time to do it. That's one where I'm going to go to class on and show.
Each of the groups that come
Basically, it's ChatGPT, Gemini, Perplexity, Claude. I don't know what else. Gamma. Oh my God, how many? There's too many. That's like a $200 a month workout to eat. That's a lot. Well, I mean, other than the Gemini ones, it gets expensive. At least we get Canva for free. Oh my God, he's a sick human.
Literally.
But he also is he's also an operating partner principal. He's kind of rich. Yeah. He doesn't care about the money. Did you purchase this thing? We did. I ended up not. Huh? For what? As a brokerage? Okay, so continue maybe. Because John's like, I don't really do that stuff. I don't know. It's XXX. He's like, you come to check for that one. I'm like, shut up, never get it. So that actually got me off. Intense. How intense was it? Because I was still thinking about getting it. Was it intense? I think there's plenty of comp training over time. I love showing. I saw you in the room. Yeah. I almost did, but then I was like, you know what? I got other stuff I gotta buy. It wasn't that. I was like, maybe this. I gotta pay for that. Well, also now the 36 touch. I'm like, I gotta cover that. Did you ever buy never no. You have to get it upset. Marty Rector made me those friends.
Last question.
Yeah, he's the IT director.
It's a different sort of AI.
Emails, and he didn't even chat on.
They're connected.
I think that's just
I switched everything on my
Where,
here, so
there's difference when it says error versus we don't have access to it. Everything is open, so you have access to it. So I'm wondering what error.
yeah.
It looks like, you know. And it's like, and she doesn't like massages and she doesn't like whatever.
Every time I tried to do it, I was like, okay, I tried this is my time. I'm not that illiterate.
No. And obviously it works for everyone. Oh, so I want to right. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Well, and then
Yeah, that was good. Thank you.
Absolutely.
the boss thing, or not the boss thing, but like where you try to get rid of Shark Tank.
Oh, yeah.
You know, the younger blonde hair lady, she was saying if you Google.
I'm literally right across the hall.
Yeah, and I've,
Steal your information, so then she taught us how to shut it off, so I had gotten it in the mini version. All the mini office, then I was thinking.
It's dark.
Definitely more like.
Down like this.
It's part of your eyes. And so we've got these like warm happy lights.
There's two of you.
Yeah.
But.
So if it's more.
Desks are.
I mean, I want to figure it out, cause I'm like.
Yeah.
It's like, there's no way.
This,
Tomorrow?
I'm like, no. Parents are-
Oh.
That works for you.
I came
That helps.
That's okay.
Whether it's a Google document or if it's a general QR code.
Yeah, I'll pass you the off, and John's like.
Does it work for you for all QR codes? That's different than if you just.
Like, how much? That's a good deal. I was like, for the price of a latte habit, I get, I mean, no, I'm being serious. People think half the cost of that office. And it makes the commitment. Probably. Really, everyone's really. I haven't even officially
What's up with you, Craig?
You need a class called AI for Dummies.
AI for
Because
dummies.
after we got through the prompting thing,
Yeah, the
it all,
prompting thing makes sense to you.
yeah,
Good.
totally
That's a
did.
win for the day.
Yeah, and so I get that, that makes.
Yeah.
So,
And,
then I got nothing else.
I totally get that. If you're going with ChatGPT, that's like kind of a search thing. When
Yeah.
you're that's like put it on my do what I'm trying to help people
Yeah.
upgrade from. That's it can be kind of cool.
Yes.
Yeah, I can totally put in a Facebook Live.
With, don't really have to. That's where I'm at. So my number one thing is,
A small percentage.
I had just heard of ChatGPT more than I had heard of Gemini, so I said, I'm gonna use ChatGPT. And it's like, here's limitations, like screw that, so I got the pro version.
Yep.
But, and I don't care about the $20 a month or whatever it is, but I don't like duplicating efforts.
Exactly.
So it's like, all things considered equal. You suggest ChatGPT Pro or Gemini Pro?
I would suggest.
Sorry.
Oh, no, you're good. As an agent for you, I would suggest Gemini Pro. Because you get it for free. That's because you are saving that monthly money, like those dollars back in your pocket. And they are very similar in the fact that they're both large language models, meaning you're using them to post things for you. Like they're right. So they're very similar in how they operate. And if you have the pro version of both, you're unlimited for things. There's differences in either one.
Hi, Allyson, thank you.
That was amazing, Alex.
Perfect. Oh, thank you. Amazing.
That was amazing.
Thank you.
Can't wait for the slides.
But so there's gonna be differences with either one, just like it's the same thing. You're gonna not producer, like there's always gonna be stuff like that, but it's gonna be what you dive into and how long that you're gonna adapt against. So I would say Gemini Pro.
You keep using ChatGPT.
I use ChatGPT kind of because we have it as an office. So one, we just have it in our source system in general, and I was using it before we had access to ChatGPT. So to your point, where you don't want to do stuff duplicate, I have a bunch of stuff already in chat. I don't want to.
So my question is, if you're our resource moving forward, doesn't it make sense? So when you put things together, that's going to be in ChatGPT. If I'm using Gemini Pro, then do I not get that?
You will, because they do the exact same thing. If you
So I could just.
So this is just through the email. You can make it the big full web version like we have, but it's the same thing where you can add files. You can connect it with Google, obviously, so you can add files.
No, when I saw you, I was like,
It's
the main
doing
question.
Right, I understand that, but so you created this
Yep.
whatever your fire net sheet or fellow net sheet.
Those are universal. Whenever I'm creating resources, I am doing it so anybody, whether you're the paid version, whether you have a free version, whether you're using this AI, that AI, it's compatible with everything.
And Google Drive, and you just upload it.
Exactly. So you're gonna save that file